This is my video for the 6-week training session, the second program. Okay, so during the 6-week training program, my client is aiming to regain his fitness levels and improve him physically. The sessions will be based to improve all-round fitness like muscular endurance, aerobic respiration, and muscular strength. This is because he has no preference on what training he has to do or what he'd like to improve. His main focus is to get back in shape, which means improving things like his cardiovascular endurance through aerobic training and training like fartlek training. He may also look to improve his strength and stability within his knee after the surgery. My client has explained that. My client also likes a lot of different types of sports like cycling, running and swimming. These normally come under the same category of continuous training, so I can utilise his preference of these sports in the training program. This means he'll be getting the benefit of aerobic training as well as enjoying it. He also stated that he enjoys all types of training program like strength, speed and cardiovascular. This means I can vary the sessions over the weeks. This can avoid tedium and improve in multiple areas, and also get him back into shape as well as improving his strength, especially in his knee. My client went through various tests to see what level of physicality he was before the 6-week training session. He was tested in his speed, strength and aerobic fitness. It was really useful he went through all of these tests, as now I know what levels he is starting at in the phases of physical fitness. He was tested in the 30-meter sprint at 3.9 seconds, the Cooper run at 2.1 kilometers, the bleep test at 10.6 and a push-up test at 39. All these tests are really helpful in knowing at what level my client is at. These things will be retested to see whether the 6-week training program is improved him physically. Moving on to the barriers. There are some barriers that will prevent my client from training at specific times and for specific hours. He will work full-time, which means he will be busy with the majority of the day as he has other commitments like dropping off kids, extra work and other family commitments. Sessions will be worked around this to make sure he has time to complete the training needed to regain fitness. An important thing to account for is his knee. This needs to be controlled and avoided as causing injury to the knee. The operation will be that he will be on his feet within 48 hours of the operation. This is faster recovery, however the first week means strenuous knee exercises need to be avoided for the first week. So this means less running exercises and more exercises like swimming. So his main barriers are with his family, as he has commitments to look after his very young children. Work is very high maintenance, but kids will take up more time in which he could be training. However, the sessions will be well worked around this to be effective. Okay, now the process. The process is working out if my client is healthy enough to complete the 6-week training session. This is tested by the questionnaire and the PARQ. The questionnaire mainly works out the barriers of the lifestyle. These have been previously mentioned. The PARQ test mainly looks at the client's actual health. This means any medical issues or injuries or anything. There were questions included like, does he have heart conditions, or is his blood pressure too high or too low? After going through this process, I concluded my client has no serious problems that will affect his training. However, there is the knee surgery. This means that I will have to take this into account with the sessions. Other than that, there wasn't really nothing but the knee. Okay, moving on to the actual sessions. The warm-up is very important, especially for my client with his dodgy knee. A warm-up will be performed before every session to help prepare my client for exercise and to help avoid things like injury which will affect his 6-week program. A warm-up normally contains static stretching, dynamic stretching and a game situation drill. A warm-up will include a good 5 to 10 minutes of static stretching, really working the lower muscles like the quadriceps and hamstring. This is to make sure the muscles around the knee are ready and can support it and not cause it too much pressure. Then there will be 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic stretching. This will be again working the lower muscles in the legs as well as the upper body ones too. Stretching is very important because the amount of variety and intensity of exercise. So my client needs to take the warm-up very seriously. With the cool-down, a cool-down is equally as important as a warm-up. A cool-down prevents things like cramp and injury. It also speeds up recovery and means my client will be more prepared for their next session. The cooldown will aim to relieve any build-up of lactic acid in the leg muscles after the workout. This is because the type of exercise will result in this happening. So the cooldown is important to help recover from each session. The cooldown will be consist of light stretching and movements to remove any waste product build-up. This will help with recovery. Okay, now moving on to the actual timetable. The timetable shows my client's daily schedules and days of sessions. What is written down is what prevents my client from exercising that day. The table represents the 6-week training program that will occur in this time. The different things labelled on the timetable represent my client's barriers in daily life. All the weeks are the same as it goes around as a routine. It is important to note my client ends work at 5:30, does extra work for an hour, and also stops everything at 9:30. So sessions during this week will be highly limited. He will also normally put his kids to sleep, so that will also take up time after work at around 7 most days. So this is why 2 of the 3 sessions will be on the weekend. It's because it's where he has most time to train. Each week will have 3 sessions in it, so this means the sessions have to be very intense to see full body improvement and muscle density and fitness. The 3 sessions will be split into speed sessions, aerobic sessions, and strength sessions. This means every area can be worked, so specificity is the actual area being attacked. Progression would be every week will be increasing it. Overload will occur in sessions like improving strength. Reversibility shouldn't occur as long as we keep that knee healthy, and tedium will be avoided by mixing up the exercises done. Monday, right, moving on to the actual day. So Monday isn't planned for a session as my client is very busy with multiple things. My client has full work that day with addition of extra work. He will also have an extra thing to do, like dropping off the kids at nursery. So because of this very busy day, my client won't be able to have an effective session. Tuesday is also a day without training as well. This is because my client is again very busy with his lifestyle. He again has to work and do extra work. Also, his wife has commitments, meaning he is left to look after the kids. This means he will have no time for a session because of his training, because of his children. Wednesday has a session planned. This is because he only has to do work and not do any other extra things. My client also states that is an appropriate day for a training session. My client feels he has enough time to complete a session and do the work, and before 9:30. It's between 9:30 because he also states he stops everything at 9:30. Thursday is a day where there will be no session. This is because he has work and extra work again. He also has commitments that more commitments than normal and will not have time for a session, as he has to pick the kids up from nursery, and his wife also has a commitment, so he has to look after the kids. This means that he will have to look after the kids after work, leaving him no time for a training session. Friday will also have no time for a session. This is because he is at work and will also have extra work again. He also has more commitments than normal and will have not have time for a session, as he has to pick the kids up from nursery. On the weekend, my client will have 2 sessions, 1 on each day. This is because he has a lot of free time, as he doesn't have to work or commitments with the kids. He also said the weekend is his preference of days to do sessions. So I've taken advantage of this and put sessions on both Saturday and Sunday for him to do. These sessions are able to be longer because he has a lot of free time. It will work my client very hard. Okay, so moving on to the actual weeks. In week 1, I've decided to split up the session. So in session 1, there will be distance swimming. This is because I want to work in the first week to get the pressure off the knee to not cause any strain or injury from it, but it will also work him aerobically and will improve aerobic endurance and muscular endurance. The second session will be weight training, but this will be more concentrating on the upper body strength, improving that score on press-up test. This will be like bicep curls, bench press, stuff like that, just improving the muscular strength in the upper body. The final session of the week will be again distance swimming. This will be to improve the endurance, aerobic endurance and muscular endurance, but also not putting too much pressure on that knee in the first week. The second week, the first session of the week, will be distance running. We're now applying pressure to that knee and working those muscles in the legs a bit harder. This will be improving aerobic endurance, getting him fit and healthy, and improving that muscular strength as well. Then we're going to switch it up for the second session of the week and do HIIT training. This is to keep it varied, but it's working on high intensities, improving that strength, improving that quickness, getting him up and fit again, but keeping him entertained. And the final session of the week is interval bike training. He said he had a preference of riding a bike, so I've included that with interval training. This will be working on high intensities for a long time, so improving that muscular endurance in the legs. In the third week, I've decided to put in fartlek training. It's probably a bit boring just constantly running, so I've mixed it up and put in fartlek training. This is like speed play, so you jog for a bit, sprint for a bit, walk for a bit. It's just mixing it up, keeping you entertained, but also still working his aerobic and muscular endurance. The second one again is weight training. I feel this is important, and now that we're in the third week, we can apply a bit more pressure on that knee. So this will be a bit more squats, a bit more weight, still working all the body, building up that strength again. And the final session of the week will be circuit training. This is to improve that quickness, speed, still working that aerobic endurance, just keeping it varied so he's not too bored. Week 4 is back to the same as week 1, so the first one, distance swimming, weight training, and then distance swimming again. I'm repeating it in the third weeks because I feel like it will be the best way to progress. It'll get him in a routine and it'll be the best way to progress. So with the distance swimming, increase the speed, reduce the rest times in between laps, stuff like that. Weight training could be increase of weights, increase of sets, reps, stuff like that. In the 5th week will be the same as the second week, so distance running, HIIT training, and interval training on a bike. So I can improve the distance running by running for longer, HIIT training by including more, making it more intense for him, and interval training could be lowering the intervals, increasing the sprint time, stuff like that. And in the final week, the fartlek running training, this could be decreasing the time of walking, increasing the time of sprinting, just increasing the whole duration of the thing, just increasing it so he can improve his aerobic endurance. The weight training again could be increasing the weights, reps and sets, just making it more intense for him, more harder on his muscles. And the circuit training could be adding more circuits into the session, increasing the duration of the actual session. Okay, so the evaluation. So we'll be retesting on his scores, so the like the bleep test and stuff, at week 3 and week 6. This is to check if my client is on track and improving. If my client's score hasn't improved by week 3, then we're doing something wrong and we must change the sessions for the next 3 weeks. If he's on track, then we'll carry on and then we'll retest him at week 6 to see how much he's improved in that time. Thank you for watching.